How's it going, Fit Fam? It's Coach Valencia. I am making this video for you guys to run through the Fitbit app and to show you what it is capable of. So every single time you open up the Fitbit app, you should see this screen. It tells you your steps, how the distance you've gone, how many calories you've prospectively burned. And if you have a Fitbit or a watch that's connected to this app, it'll probably be a little bit more accurate, but for the most part, this should be pretty spot on, give or take, some things here and there. So don't stress out too much about this number, but just use it as a rough estimate. Now, when you go into this one, it's going to immediately ask you, track your exercises right here. And we're not going to focus on this one because it is not important. That's why we have the coaching app. We already have your exercises logged in, ready to go. So all you have to do is go into the coaching app, check them off as you do them, and if there's any kind of deviation, say you need to reschedule something or move something, you're more than free to do it. All you have to do is change the date that it's scheduled on. Now, we move into the metrics. You're going to enter your body weight and your height when you start off your profile. So it's going to give you a bunch of things, and this is just your profile that you go on to. You can change your avatar or your icon any way you want. But the main two things that I want to focus on right here are your water intake and your food log. So right now my food log is empty so that I can show you how to log in absolutely anything. And I got some things around me that I can scan in to show you how they work, but we'll get into that in a second. So right here in your Fitbit or in the FitBody coaching app, there is a bubble there's a check mark that says to check off if you drank half your weight in ounces of water. And an easy way to track that is in this Fitbit app as well, because you could just click on it as soon as you drink something. Let's say you have one glass, you can click one glass. If you had a bottle of water and you know how much it holds, then you can click on that. Or, if you're having milliliters, which I doubt anybody's having milliliters of water because that's a small amount to measure. But if you are, there's also that as well. So you can click on these little arrows to change the measurements. But for the most part, I have a 32-ounce bottle. So every time I finish it out, I just click on the 16 ounces twice, and then it'll automatically log it in. And then you can put the date. Let's say that you're logging in for yesterday. You know how many you checked in. Then you can click on yesterday. Right here, so you're just going to click on this little date, click on yesterday, and then I know that I drank 4 of my water bottles, so I'm going to click on this 8 times. I've already gotten 2, so 4, 6, 8, so 128 ounces. So that's about a gallon of water. So that's for yesterday. But you can always do that, so you just click the plus, and it's going to show you your stats. As soon as you get into it more, and you click on the ounces that you've drank, you could always see more. So it's going to show you how much you've drank throughout the week, kind of what your averages are, and if you scroll down, it'll show you for the last however many days, or pretty much forever, how much you've drank. So I only have 1 day scheduled in here, and then if you want to log more, there's this plus at the top, so you click on that plus, and then you just add your water right there. And so now we're going to get on to the good part. So the main thing that we want you to focus on for this app is the nutrition, your food. And that's going to go right here where the green apple is. So I'm going to go ahead and click this plus button, and then it's going to bring you this prompt. These are already things that I've put in. As you see, I had Cocoa Puffs the other day. It happens. But I love cereal. That's my one weak point. So if you go in here, it's going to give you frequent, recent, custom. And custom is going to be food that you can't just find. Because if you click into the search bar, and then you add almost anything. Let's say that this morning I had eggs. So I had eggs, so I'm just going to type in eggs. It's going to give you a bunch of prompts. The most popular, it'll give you brands. So you either want to find which ones you've had, and let's just say that I had these Vita eggs because I know they sell them at the Save Mart near my house. So I'd go there, and then it usually will give you the serving size, the amount of calories, the time of day that you ate it, and the date. So right here, if you click on one egg, it changes. So you want to click right here under serving size because it'll almost always give you a serving size and then the amount you've eaten. But let's say that you only had half an egg because you're meal planning for later or something happened. So you can't exactly just calculate a half serving right here, but you can. So you can go into 0 and then click on half. So you can scroll through, and it's very in-depth. So half a serving, half an egg right there. Or let's say that you're weighing it out, that you're not necessarily just taking it one egg at a time, that there's a lot or a little bit, or you're making a bunch for your family and you're cooking it up. And the only way to measure it is to check out the grams. So you're gonna go on this right column right here. So you're gonna click back on the servings, you're gonna go to grams, and let's say you had, we'll just put this at half right there so it's a pretty good number. So let's say you had 100 grams of eggs, to just make it a nice and even number. 100.5 grams of eggs. So you're gonna go there, it's gonna give you the calories that you've done, and then you could either press the bottom, which is log and add more, which is gonna prompt you to add another thing, or you can click at the top right here where it says log, and it's just gonna log your food. So we're gonna go ahead and click the top log. And so as you see, it brings you back to your main menu, and it says that I have 133 calories logged for eating 100 grams of my eggs. Now, let's say that there's something that you can't find or that it's just not working out for you. You can always add custom foods. So let's just say I'm having, coffee, but it's a small brand company. You don't know a whole lot about it. It's not set up in the system. And then we'll just add AMC coffee, just to give it a random name. And let's say the servings are going to be all these different types. So as you can see, there's a lot of different serving types or measurements. So you want to find the one that registers the most. So bar, bottle, box, can, container, cube, fluid, ounces, grams. I calculate almost everything in ounces and grams. Those are going to be your bread and butter, because if you couldn't cut everything down to ounces and grams, it's going to make everything very specific, and it's going to be very easy. But if you just cut it into the servings it has, then there can be some gray area, because you're not always going to have a full serving. So you want to weigh out your food. That's why we encourage highly that you get a measuring scale for your food. So let's say grams, the grams for the coffee was about 35 grams flat. And then for every 35 grams, it's about 20 calories. And then how many calories from fat, we'll just put 1. And so this is just a rough draft. This is showing you, entering in the food, then the label, then how much a serving size is, and then the calories from that serving, and then the calories from fat. And then if you want to make it a little bit more details, you can click here where it says switch to detailed view, and then it's going to give you all of this. But for the most part, we're not going to add that in. We just want to be focusing on making sure that you're just counting the calories, that you're getting it into the system, and you're tracking your food. So after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click save right here at the top. And then, same time, when did I have it? I had it for breakfast. And this time I'm going to click log and add more, because we're going to do something different after this. So log, add more. And so instead of coming to the main menu, it brings me here back to the search menu. So, let's get out of that. So now let's say that I'm eating, right here I have a thing of trail mix in front of me as an example, and say that I'm gonna eat a single serving of this trail mix. Now I can go in and I can search it up here and search in Sunny Select Mountain Trail Mix, and I can type all that, look for it, scroll down the list, but that might not be the most optimal way, because I have the bar scan code. So instead of doing all that, I can click up here on the top right corner, and then click OK to allow my phone to have access. And I'm just going to try and get this barcode right there in the center. You want to make sure that you got it. And as soon as it gets it, it's going to click it right into place. So you do not have to, there's no guessing if you got it right. It's going to automatically log it in for you, and you should be good to go. So then I'm having that as a snack, an afternoon snack right here. And 30 grams is a serving size, but let's say that you measured it out and you had a little bit more than 30 grams, because a handful is pretty much 30 grams. So I know that I'm going to eat more than a handful. But let's say I had about 50 grams. So it's not quite 2 servings, but it's definitely over the 1 serving. So that's 217 calories. Wow, I should rethink eating this trail mix. But it's 217 calories, and I'm adding it to my afternoon. And then if you want to click on nutritional facts up here, it's going to give you everything in detail. So this gives you a very big shortcut to logging everything in. It makes it simple, it makes it easy, you don't even have to think about it, it's just good to go. So as soon as you look at all of this, you're happy with it, it's all logged in, looks good to go. You can even double check to see if there's anything different, but for the most part, it should be spot on. And then you're just gonna click log. So far for my day, I've had 370 calories. Now, you might be asking, okay, what if I cook something at home and it's all home cooked, and I had something that I had the other day was baked chicken with some vegetables on top and a side of white rice. So the way that you would do that is you would go through every single ingredient you had. And so let's say you started off with the chicken breast. So you're going to type it in, chicken. Let's see if it pops up. Breast. So right there, chicken breast, skinless, non-fat, breast strips, grilled. So it's all going to give you all of these options. But I just wanted to put that I had chicken breast and I had one piece. And now one piece is very subjective because pieces are varying. They weigh a different amount. So you want to go into ounces. You want to weigh how many ounces of chicken I have. For me, I had about 9 ounces of chicken. It was a pretty big chicken breast. And if it was like even a little bit on the scale, let's say 9.25, 9.2, 4-ish, then we're going to go ahead, add that little one in the middle. And then on this bottom, it's going to say the low end in calories, most common, and then high in calories. Adjust this for what you're doing. Estimate it. For the most part, you're going to want to go with most common unless you're getting something that specifically states that it's on the lower end of something. And I had that for my dinner. So now I got that generic chicken breast, 9 1/4 ounces, probably most common in calories, and I had it for dinner. And that's going to go for yesterday, but I'm going to put it for today so that it immediately shows up on my log. Now, instead of hitting log and then going through the process, I'm going to go to log and add more. Now, I know also on top of it, there was tomatoes. So we're going to go ahead. There was raw tomatoes. And again, it's going to give you, right here, it gave you grams because the serving size isn't applicable because tomatoes are different. But I probably had about 35 grams worth of tomatoes in total. Not a whole lot, but enough to make it stand out. So I had 35 grams, dinner, log and add more. Now there was some mozzarella cheese on top. And then you want to search out which one you had. So it was shredded, just a little bit on top. And again, it's going to give you the serving size in cups, but I'm going to go to ounces again. And there was about 2 ounces of cheese in total. So I'm going to say about, for the 2 chicken breasts that were made, it was about 1 ounce of cheese, if not less, but I wasn't super accurate on it, so I'm guesstimating here, but that's all right. And then it'll also give you the nutritional facts. If you want to find the very specific one you used, use the scanner. It's going to give you a great amount of detail. So I'm going to go ahead, close that out, go to the bottom, press log and some more. And let's say I had white rice, because I know I had white rice. So we're going to go, it's going to give you a bunch of different ones. I had long grain rice, so I'm going to go ahead, click long grain. I had about 1.5 cups of long grain rice. So that's going to be there. And I know that because that's the measurement I used. But again, if you're measuring it out, use the ounces. I usually eat 1.5 cups of rice, and that's going to be around 180 grams-ish, give or take. So we're just going to put I had 180 grams of white rice for the sake of putting it in. And so, okay, I did not have 6,000 calories. Okay, never mind. I didn't have it in grams. There we go. So I had 234 calories worth of rice. And that's going to go into my dinner. I'm going to log and add more. Because now if there's anything else, spices, herbs, anything you did, I had some rosemary. Rosemary leaves. Because everything counts here. Everything counts. That's the biggest thing. No matter how small it is, you want to put it in. And I had about 2 tablespoons of rosemary, just fresh rosemary leaves on top of it. And again, you want to measure it out. If you can, do it in ounces. I did it in teaspoons or tablespoons, so make sure to add it, try and do it in ounces. And then even the olive oil, there was some olive oil on the bottom. So using extra virgin olive oil. Again, if the specific olive oil you're using, you want to scan it. That way you get more specific about it. The more specific you are, the better off you're going to be, because then you're going to know exactly what you're eating. And as you see on the top here, my dinner, it's putting it all together right here at the top. It's putting it all together so that it's one meal. And you're going to want to do that for everything. So you're tracking every single thing. So let's say that I put about 1 tablespoon of olive oil, because if you're anything like me, you kind of winged it. We're going to log. And for this one, it pretty much finishes off what I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead and press log at the top. And then right there, boom, it automatically took my calorie intake from 370 something to 1223, and that's for my dinner. And right here, it's going to show you everything in detail, how many calories it was for the day, what it was broken down to from breakfast to afternoon snack to dinner. And it's going to show you right here if you're in the zone, under the zone, over, calories out. So for me, I'm under my zone for the day, but again, I'm not done tracking, so it's going to be a full process here. But just make sure that you are tracking everything. You don't have to focus on the macros, not at the moment. So just, make sure that you're tracking your food. The biggest thing is that you're tracking your food, because what gets tracked gets improved. So the more that you measure it, the more comfortable you are with it, the better off you're going to be with tracking your progress. So if you have any other questions, feel more than free to ask, send out a message, reach out to your coach, do what you got to do. But yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this one. Take care.